Washington just changed its ADU laws, and it's one of the most buyer-friendly shifts I've seen in this market in years. If you're buying in Seattle and you haven't heard about this yet, here's what changed and why it might matter to you. ADU stands for Accessory Dwelling Unit. Think something like a garage apartment, backyard cottage, in-law suite, a separate livable space on a single family residential lot on the same lot as an existing home. For buyers, an ADU means two different things. One is potential for rental income that can definitely help offset your mortgage. Two is more flexibility. You can house a family member, you can use it as a home office, or potentially generate income while you're not using it, or put it on Airbnb. Seattle has had ADU-friendly zoning for years, but the rules used to be much more complicated. Owner-occupancy requirements, limits on how many ADUs per lot, parking requirements that made backyard cottages difficult to build. So here's what has changed. Washington State passed legislation that significantly loosened ADU restrictions statewide, and Seattle as a city has moved to comply with these restrictions. These are three of the biggest changes for buyers. One, the owner occupancy requirement is gone. You no longer have to live in the primary home or the primary unit to rent out the ADU. So this is significant for investors and for people who might want to relocate later after they lived on the site, but still keep the property as a landlord. Two, you can now build up to 2 ADUs on a single family lot in most Seattle zones. Now we'll get to which ones you can't. So if you buy a house with an existing attached ADU, you might be able to add another detached backyard cottage as well to that lot. So you have 3 different living spaces. And 3, the parking minimums for ADUs have been reduced. This was definitely a major barrier for backyard cottages on small Seattle lots, and that barrier is largely gone now. So if you've been looking at Seattle properties and noticed more listings mentioning ADUs or income potential, drop a comment below. I want to know what you're seeing out there, if it's the same as what I'm seeing. Here's the thing. This doesn't mean every Seattle property suddenly has ADU potential. You have to think about the lot size, the zoning, the existing structures, the utility connections. Those all still matter. But the policy landscape has shifted, and it opens up a category of properties that buyers should be actively looking at, especially if you want income potential. What I'm telling buyers to look for is any lot over 4,000 square feet with an existing detached garage. That's often an ADU conversion candidate because you already have the garage there. Those are also great candidates. But he's explicitly listed as ADU ready or with income potential in the listing notes. On the rental income side, a well-built Seattle ADU can realistically generate anywhere from $1,500 to probably $2,200 per month, depending on the neighborhood and the type of finishes in the home. And that's a meaningful offset with a mortgage, especially with Seattle prices. Now, here's the part nobody in real estate wants to tell you, but I'm going to tell you now. Not every property marketed as ADU potential actually has it. I've seen listings use that language on lots where the setback requirements or the utility capacity would make ADU construction very difficult or very, very expensive. So before you pay a premium for ADU potential, you need basically to have a conversation with a Seattle permit specialist or a general contractor who builds ADUs regularly in the city, and look at the specific zoning designation for the parcel of land that you're trying to buy and take an honest assessment of what the actual building cost would be. ADU construction in Seattle right now can run anywhere from $150,000 up to $300,000 for a quality detached unit or more, depending on size and finish. And that's not a small bill. It needs to pencil out against the rental income before you commit to a purchase price that's already baked in as a premium. And you need to think about how soon you'll get that money back if you plan to do this. Let me know in the comments if you'd want to do a dedicated video on ADU construction costs and what the actual ROI looks like right now. That might be worth its own video altogether. In terms of where ADU potential is most realistic, look at neighborhoods with older single-family housing stock, sufficient size and space. Places like West Seattle, Columbia City, Finney Ridge, Greenwood, Maple Leaf, parts of Beacon Hill. These neighborhoods have the lot sizes and the housing stock age where ADU conversions make a lot of sense. And the rental income in these areas is strong enough to make the math work when you go build that ADU. When you compare that to places like South Lake Union or First Hill, which are predominantly condo and multifamily, that's where ADU plays don't really exist in the same way or are going to be too complicated or way too expensive. So if you're buying in Seattle in the next 3 months, ask your agent to specifically filter for ADU potential in your search if that's something you want. This is a legitimate investment angle worth screening for and looking at. If you're 30 days from closing on a property and you think it might have ADU potential, get a contractor out before you close on the home, not after. If you're 90 days or more out, use that time to understand the zoning for any properties you're seriously looking at. It's public information and takes about 10 minutes to look up, so definitely look into those things. If you're trying to figure out whether a Seattle property you're looking at actually has ADU potential, or you want to understand what the income could realistically look like, that's exactly the kind of analysis that I do with all of my clients who are buyers. You can see my contact information below and set up a one-on-one with me to talk through some of the potential and the benefits of getting a property with ADU potential. And honestly, this is only one piece of what's shifting in the Seattle market right now. If you're trying to figure out which neighborhoods have the best long-term fundamentals and which ones I'd be watching if I were you, I've got a full playlist that covers all of it right here.